In a previous video, I spoke about how Elon Musk was having a bad time with some investors in Twitter, marking down the value of Twitter by 70%. I've had some questions about how some of the finance involved works. It is fairly easy to understand that if the valuation of a company is less than the debt it owes, then liquidating that company wouldn't cover its debt. Twitter is just about there, and the trend of the valuation of Twitter is not in the good direction. Another question I've encountered is, how did Twitter end up owing $13 billion to the lenders who contributed that money to Elon Musk buying Twitter? Doesn't Elon owe that money? That's an example of how leveraged buyouts work. The debt used to buy a company becomes a liability of the company, not of the buyers. Usually the buyers are a private equity firm, but that's a whole other controversy. Twitter is an especially strange kind of leveraged buyout. Usually the targets of leveraged buyouts have assets that can be sold off to reduce the debt involved. This is often referred to as asset stripping, but Twitter has no assets to strip. There are no parts of Twitter to be sold off. The investment banks that lent money into this deal surely knew what a strange leveraged buyout this was. But Elon's the wealthiest man on the planet. What could possibly go wrong? Another thing that happens when a corporation owes more money than you would get from liquidating it is that the equity investors' shares are worth approximately zero. Shareholders get whatever is left over after the creditors' loans are paid off. This is one reason why Elon can't sell shares to raise money. Any investor would be throwing money into a hole. Another reason that attracting investors will be exceedingly difficult is that once a social network is on a downward trend, it's almost always unrecoverable. Nobody has a pressing need for any particular social network. It's not vital to anyone. Unlike, for example, a piece of industrial equipment that could be critical to customers' factories, any currently popular social network could disappear, and it would have no noticeable effect on the wider economy. The result is that Twitter will be a drain on Elon's personal wealth. He's the only investor willing to throw money into the Twitter hole, and that reveals the truth of it being an ego-driven investment. That leads to further questions, especially as SpaceX and Tesla transition from product ideas that were established by industry experts to those that are largely driven by Elon's vision. Is Cybertruck a huge misunderstanding of the pickup truck market? Is Starship the right-sized rocket for anything? It could be far too big for orbital launch and not powerful enough for interplanetary missions. To get to the moon, the lunar Starship requires building and launching an orbital fuel depot, somewhere between 4 and 16 tanker Starship launches to fill that depot, and in-orbit refueling of the lunar Starship to send one mission to the moon. This channel is about project management, so put your project manager hat on and tell me if that's all going to be ready for the Artemis 3 mission at the end of 2025. 2026? 2027? How late was that oddball pickup truck? In other words, we now get to see if Elon really knows what he's doing with all of his ventures, not just Twitter.